Greetings world. We are anonymous. The United States Congress is preparing to attempt to pass a new law this coming week that, if enacted, would essentially remove President Donald Trump from power and amount to an open declaration of war on the entire Federation, and that President Putin has vowed will be met by force. A new U.S. law deceptively named Countering Iran's Destabilizing Activities Act of 2017, in order to keep the American people from knowing its true nature, was introduced in the U.S. Senate and passed by a vote of 98-2, and whose final version, posted on the U.S. House of Representatives website last night, shows its true aim/goal, as more than 80% of it is devoted solely to taking all power away from President Trump, while at the same time openly declares on Russia, under the U.S. Constitution that provides for a tripartite, three-part form of government equally dividing state power among the executive branch, legislative branch and judicial branch. President Trump is the federal official primarily responsible for the relations of the United States with foreign nations, but should this new law pass this week, it would remove all such powers from the executive branch, giving them, instead, to the U.S. Congress, who shockingly in the final version of this bill takes executive orders signed by President Barack Obama and makes them law. In 2014, President Obama signed executive orders imposing sanctions on Russia, which the executive branch has the power to do. But for the first time in American history, the U.S. Congress, as the legislative branch, takes these executive orders signed by Obama and orders President Trump not to ever remove them, thus effectively negating his ability to conduct foreign policy. This new law, also, contains a section titled Imposition of Sanctions with respect to persons engaging in transactions with the intelligence or defense sectors of the government of the Russian Federation that forbids President Trump, the Pentagon, and all U.S. intelligence agencies, from cooperating in any way with Russian intelligence agencies or military, to include battling Islamic terrorists. A section of this new law titled Sanctions with respect to the development of pipelines in the Russian Federation, further orders President Trump to destroy all energy-related activities in Russia, with another section titled Modification of Implementation of Executive Order 13662 stating that President Trump is, also, to begin the complete destruction of Russia's railways, mining and metal sectors that employ millions. Another section of this new law titled Imposition of Sanctions relating to special Russian crude oil projects, orders President Trump, likewise, to destroy any company in the world that cooperates with Russia's state-owned energy companies supplying natural gas to the European Union, with a section titled Sanctions with respect to investment in or facilitation of privatization of state-owned assets by the Russian Federation, going even further by ordering President Trump to keep Russia from even being able to privatize its government-owned energy assets. That in the U.S. is called capitalism. In the section of this new law titled Imposition of Sanctions with respect to activities of the Russian Federation undermining cybersecurity, President Trump is further ordered to begin the wholesale destruction of Russia's entire internet structure in retaliation for Russia's supposed hacking of the U.S. election, and that Foreign Minister Lavrov has stated the U.S. has given absolutely no evidence for, and is stating, "I cannot imagine that with the experience of the CIA, National Security Agency, FBI and many other intelligence and special services in the United States, there are no experts who can present to the public the facts the way which would not compromise the sources. If this is the case, then there is no single professional in all these 17 structures. I cannot just believe in it, as Syria's grip of steel against ISIS shows that the end is near for these global terrorists." Another section of this new law titled Sanctions with respect to the transfer of arms and related material to Syria orders President Trump to destroy anyone rearming Syria too, and whose only beneficiary, of course, will be the Islamic terrorists America keeps saying they want to defeat, but never do, with Russia controlling the only access to the International Space Station. The only seemingly favorable section of this new law is titled Exception relating to activities of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, but whose words are actually meaningless, as President Putin has previously stated all U.S. access to this space station will be denied upon sanctions being enacted, and has further ordered the shutting down of 11 bases controlling the Americans' worldwide GPS system, as Germany has warned the U.S. of retaliation when these sanctions harm their interests, and the EU is, likewise, warning that these unilateral actions by the U.S. Congress will most assuredly have unintended consequences. The unholy alliance of the Obama-Clinton Democratic Party with Republican Party warmongering neocons is listening to no one but themselves, and who actually believe that they can dictate the destruction of Russia without any cost to them being paid. The only apparent sane people left in the US and EU who know full well that Russia will never allow this new American law to destroy them are the military leaders of NATO, who by the day are becoming more and more concerned as Russia's summer war games, named Zapad West 2017, are set to kick off in September when this new US law is set to take effect, and that is already setting off alarm bells all across Europe, particularly due to Chinese and Russian warships massing off the very doorstep of Europe for the first time in history, with Foreign Minister Lavrov stating earlier today that the American establishment was still in shock due to President Trump's election, and that his deep state enemies want to make the life of this administration miserable as they speak about impeaching him. He nevertheless believes Trump can survive and war can averted, but most certainly not due to the U.S. mainstream fake news propaganda media whom Lavrov commented on by bluntly stating, "Frankly, I read the news from the United States less and less. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us."